Considered a grunge supergroup, Mad Season would be made up of Alice in Chains frontman Lane Staley, Mike McCready of Pearl Jam, bassist John Baker Saunders, and Screaming Trees drummer Barrett Martin. The origins of the supergroup would begin in 1994. Pearl Jam guitarist Mike McCready had been struggling with substance abuse and headed to a treatment center in Minnesota, where he would meet bassist John Baker Saunders, who was in the treatment center dealing with a heroin addiction. Following their stint in rehab, both musicians agreed to start a band to help each other stay sober. They would enlist drummer Barrett Martin, and all they now needed was a frontman. Alice in Chains at the time were on a break following a failed 1994 tour with Metallica that had to be shelved due to frontman Lane Staley's substance abuse issues. McCready, knowing that Lane was struggling to stay sober, offered the frontman a chance to join the group, hoping it would help him clean up his act. Staley joined the group and they played some shows and even worked on some material, which would turn into their first and only album, Above, which came out in March of 1995. You guys may not know this, but Mad Season at one point was considering releasing a second album in the late 90s, but it never came to fruition, and that's what we're going to explore in today's video. The group Mad Season would get their name from guitarist Mike McCready, as he told Yahoo here.
The name of Mad Season originated, and I won't go too deeply into it, but when we were mixing the first record, the Pearl Jam record in Surrey, England, the people that worked at the studio said, "Oh, it must be the Mad Season," and that's the season when all the hallucinogenic mushrooms come out over in Surrey, England. And I thought, I'm going to keep that title for something someday.
Also contributing to the group's album, Above, was Screaming Trees frontman Mark Lanegan, who co-wrote and sang vocals on several tracks. Mad Season would play a total of 6 live shows, but the members had other commitments and would go back to their respective bands by early 1995. Despite the limited window of promotion for the record Above, it was a huge success, going gold thanks to the single River of Deceit, which was a top 10 hit on rock radio. Despite their other commitments though, Columbia Records, who Mad Season was signed to, wanted a follow-up album, with Barrett Martin telling Louder Sound, "Columbia wanted us to make another record, and we said, yeah, let's do it." Nobody ever quit the band. Nobody ever called up and said, "I can't do this." Mike, Baker, and I had been working on riffs and chord progressions. We went into the studio and started recording basic tracks, and basically, Lane never came back. Mark Lanegan came down for one day. He sang on a couple of songs from the first album, but he wasn't ready to sing on anything at that point. The truth was, Lane's health was deteriorating, and I think he really wanted to do it, but he just couldn't. Originally, Mad Season's second album would be called Disinformation, but the whole project would be scrapped. McCready and Martin's focus soon changed to starting a new band called Disinformation, with Lanegan fronting the group, but again, that went nowhere. They soon drifted into other musical projects as they had already rented the studio. Any hopes for a future follow-up were shattered when bassist John Baker Saunders died in January of 1999 due to a heroin overdose. Martin would recall to Louder Sound hearing the news, "It was a very big shock to me because we bought houses that were just a few blocks apart, and he would come to my house almost every morning. We'd sit and have coffee with my girlfriend, and we'd just laugh all the time. He had a lot of great stories about playing the blues. He and I had talked the night before he died about how we were going to meet and have breakfast at a diner in our neighborhood. I got a call early the next morning about how he died from an overdose, and I was in complete shock because I had no idea that was even a possibility because, like I said, I saw him almost every day. It was bad." According to Mark Yarm's book, Everybody Loves Our Town, one of Baker's friends would recall the time leading up to his death, remembering how the bassist was stressed financially and banking on a new Mad Season album to help him out. In addition to that, he was also in a relationship with a Belgian woman who had gone back home, and he was feeling lonely. Baker would end up relapsing while his dealer was at his house, and it was said in the book that his dealer waited too long to call 911. In 1999, during an interview on Rockline, the members of Alice in Chains were interviewed when one caller asked about the future of Mad Season, and here's frontman Lane Staley's comment on it.
Hey, Joe Elliott?
How's it going?
What's up, dude?
Hey, I got a question for Lane.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what's going on? I was wondering, do you have any more Mad Seasons in the works? And if so, are you guys going to do any like small club dates or anything like that across the United States?
No.
Double no.
We're not doing anything more. Actually, the bass player passed on this last year. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Baker.
Baker, yeah. So nothing in the works for Mad Season.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 years later, on April 5th, 2002, Staley would die from a drug overdose, and Mad Season's sole record, Above, would be reissued as a box set in 2013. Then in 2015, the surviving members, McCready and Martin, would team up with the Seattle Symphony Orchestra, as well as Chris Cornell of Soundgarden and Guns N' Roses bassist Duff McKagan, at a concert called Sonic Evolution, which saw the musicians perform a number of Mad Season songs. It was the same year that Barrett Martin would announce on social media that he was working on new Mad Season material with McCready and McKagan. That project would eventually morph into a band called the Levy Walkers, who would put out a handful of songs in 2016 with Killing Joke frontman Jazz Coleman. The following year, they would release a new track called All Things Fade Away with Aaron Jones. As for the band's legacy, McCready would look back telling Louder Sound, "I'm honored that people now consider the album classic. At the time, I didn't think so, but over time I've seen like Mad Season tattoos on people, and now I can see that it meant a lot to people." As for their departed bandmates, Martin would add, "In a very real way, I feel the spirits of Lane and Baker. I can always feel those guys around. They were helping to guide this thing together. I did a lot of meditating and praying about what was the right thing to do, because I wanted to be in memory of them, but I also want people to hear a great band and some great new songs. I think their spirits being involved is what got me and Mike working on some new stuff." That concludes today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys have suggestions for stories you'd like to see me cover in the future, use the link in the description box below. I go through the request form pretty much on a daily basis to get inspiration for ideas, and then I turn them into videos. We'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories.